Now, what if I told you that the miracle at Cana was not just about turning water into wine? Most couples actually miss the key lesson in that story. And if you understand the concept that I'm about to explain to you, it could literally save your marriage from unnecessary arguments forever. Let's get into it, shall we? At the wedding, the wine runs out. This is a social disaster. Mary runs to Jesus and she says, they have no more wine. And Jesus says, woman, what does this have to do with me? First of all, woman, to your mother. Jesus says, woman, what does this have to do with me? My hour has not yet come. Now, let me translate what Jesus said into lay terms, into our modern day English. It would be, mom, please, not now. There was no positive answer in that statement. There was no affirmation. There was no confirmation that he was going to turn any water into any wine. But what did Mary say? Or what did Mary do? She drops it and she leaves it there. She drops it and she leaves it there. No long talk, no dragging, no trying to reaffirm her place as a mother, or in our case, am I not your wife? Don't I have a say? None of that. She drops it and she leaves it there and she turns to the servant and what does she say? Do what he says you should do. Meaning she knew that whatever she dropped had some kind of an impact. So today, the message that I'm trying to pass across to you, if you don't take anything away from all the stuff I'm going to say, is to drop it, zip it, and leave it there. That's the move. It's called strategic silence. You have to know the power in the seed that you have planted. Following up with nagging and every other thing disrupts the flow and the growth of that seed that you have planted. Dropping it and leaving there is strategic. It's not stupid. The action point is to drop it, zip it, and leave it there. Whether it's your spouse or your sibling or your stubbornly talented business partner, you do not need to shout your idea into submission. When you drop it and leave it there, you're not backing down. You're actually letting God do what you're over talking and over nagging and over complaining can never do. But guess what? Jesus still did the miracle. He still turned water into wine. He still did what Mary wanted him to do.
A win is a win.
Let peace win over your ego. Let timing win over tension. And let God do that part that you really cannot do. I need you to come to a realization of this fact. Some people, especially the ones we marry, will never admit you are right. They may do it indirectly. You might get it every now and then, but most time where it matters to you, they will never admit that you are right. And there's research to explain all of this. We're going to get into it in a second. Wives, tell me how many times you've made a great suggestion and it was just shrugged away with a side eye, like, we don't need that right now. That doesn't. And then a few months later, they circle back, rebrand it, and then they come to you and say, baby, I was thinking. You were thinking what?
Bombastic side eye.
When they rebrand it with baby, I was thinking. And then you hear the same idea that you put in his head a few months ago, but now it's rebranded like a genius idea that he came up with, and you're shocked. But guess what? That's not your moment to say, did I not just suggest that? Was that not my idea a few months ago? The point is that what you wanted is about to happen. Don't spoil it. The wine is about to be made. The water is about to be turned into wine, if you get what I'm saying. So don't spoil it. It's not, what's the point of getting credit? Sometimes we try to get credit over the peace that will come from just living in the moment and accepting it and letting it go. What does it actually do to you to say, well, that was my idea? Isn't it just a little bit of a side eye and so what's your point? And then a little bit of tension. In that moment, you put on your best Hollywood and Nollywood hat and you're like, tell me more. Wow. Baby, that's genius. Are we not all winning? We're winning all. The idea is getting execution. That's all that matters. The end result is all that matters. Now, research actually backs this up. Let's look at it for a second. A 2019 study in the Journal of Economic Behavior and Organization found that spousal decision making is not always about logic. It is also primarily about dynamics. Let me break all that jargon down for you. Spousal decision making is not always about logic. It's about dynamics, meaning that decision making is influenced by tone, timing, and who feels like they are leading in the relationship. I'm going to break that down with some examples so that you can understand what I'm saying and actually input the things that you've learned here into your relationships. So I'm going to call this the trio of influence. Whenever it comes to decision making, and sometimes when you feel like there's a bit of tension and you feel like you've done everything right by the books, you've done everything that every mentor out there says, why isn't it working? It's called the trio of influence. Timing means, when did you bring it up? Did you bring it up when there was peace? Did you bring it up when there was tension? What the timing of the day? If the person's a morning person, are you going to be bringing that up first thing in the morning? Or are you going to be bringing it up after enjoyable moments in your marriage? So what I'm saying is timing is really important. Now, if you get the timing right, you then have another aspect of the trio to deal with. That aspect is tone. Did you bring it up in a sarcastic way? Did you bring it up in an authoritative way? Because if you don't know by now, men don't like to be commanded. And women love to be spoken to in a sweet, soothing tone. Women love vision. Show her where this thing you are suggesting is going, and she will catch it faster than you can throw it. I guarantee you that. So the timing, the tone is very, very important. Now, this last one, you see this last one, this is the one that is out of our control. It's called the leadership perception. This part is about how your spouse feels about their role in the relationship at that moment. So if your spouse is feeling a little bit behind or unseen or unheard, that brilliant idea that was delivered at the best time in the most subtle tone will be knocked down, because it might feel like another reminder that they're not in control, that they're not meeting up, or they're not leading. And this can go both ways. So don't always think I'm referring to just the men wanting leadership control. Even as a woman, if your husband is coming home and having multiple wins, he just got a promotion at work, he just got a raise financially, he just got on the board of a very significant institution, and he's just getting all these wins, and maybe you have decided to stay home with the kids and your career is just moving like this, you're already feeling behind. So let's just say, in all of this greatness that has happened, more income is coming into the household, he looks at you, his wife, and he says, baby, why don't we start ordering out a little bit more? Or perhaps let's go into one of these, meal prep services so that you won't be as stressed as you are. And then what happens? The tone is beautiful, the timing is beautiful, even the intention is beautiful, because now I can relieve my wife of stress. But what happens then? She's like, no, we don't need that. We don't need all that food things. What do we need to waste money ordering food for? And in her mind, that's the one thing that she still has control over. That food and kitchen, you want to take that away from me now that you're taking all the glory? It shouldn't be so. Marriage is about win-win, but I'm just telling you what the research says is at play here. Sometimes it's not like you're not happy for your spouse, or you're not feeling like your win is their win. Also, it depends on so many factors in the relationship. If your spouse is the kind of person that rubs it in your face, then maybe you're really not happy. But then even when you're happy for them, you tend to feel, what am I doing with my life? If you're the kind of person that's ambitious. It's the same feeling when you see people getting married, your age mates, your younger ones, your little babies that you carried when they were small and they're all getting married. You are happy for them, but you also kind of question, when will my turn come? There is nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you a bad or evil person. What I'm trying to give you now is the explanation as to why, even with all of your efforts, that message may not be received the way that you were expecting it to be received, because there's the dynamic of influence and relationship perception or leadership perception in that marriage at that point in time. Research shows that in a relationship, when one person consistently feels overshadowed, it can lead to resistance, even in moments that do not warrant any conflict whatsoever. So they may reject your idea, not because it's a bad idea, not because of the delivery, but because it makes them feel smaller. Now, that third factor isn't always in your control, but the awareness of it gives you the emotional intelligence to handle it. So in that case, If you feel like you've ticked every other box, you can think, oh, maybe there's another reason for this reaction. And then you don't react to what is actually coming out at you. Now, arguing to prove that you're right rarely ever changes anyone's heart. But faith, patience, and the application of wisdom, now that's the miracle territory. So whenever you find yourself in a pickle and you're wondering, why can't this person understand me? Remember to drop it, zip it, and leave it there. Leave it there and let God do what your words can't. Leave it there and go back in prayer. Leave it there and reassess the situation. Was it the tone, the timing, and how does my partner feel in terms of leadership and identity and self-worth when it comes to this relationship dynamics at this point in time? You can see how the research ties beautifully into our reality and definitely how religion plays a part into it. Let me know in the comment section if you're going to be trying to drop it, zip it, and leave it there. The dropping and leave it there is the part I don't struggle with. The zipping it, ooh. There are things that I feel need to be said, but hallelujah, the Lord will help us with zipping it and every other thing that's required to make our marriages thrive. Let me know if you've come across any situation like this and if this research makes any sense at all to you. And if at all you agree with it, please don't fight with me. Fight with the data. I'm only a messenger. I'm only here to deliver what the research says and figure out how we can implement it into our reality to make our relationships thrive. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Dr. Joey O, and I will see you in the next video.